Mr. President, first, thank you very much for taking your time and accept our interview. Let me start this interview with situation in Gaza and Palestine. We know that in General Assembly, I would say majority of member states, they support the acceptance of State of Palestine as full member of the United Nations. Yet in the Security Council, obviously we saw some blockade here. It seems to me like it's in a dead end. What is your opinion of the acceptance of Palestine as full member?
Well, the manner in which you've characterized it is indeed correct. The overwhelming majority of member states in the General Assembly voted in favor of the resolution for Palestine to become a full member state of the United Nations and of the General Assembly. But since the Security Council had not itself pronounced on that, under the rules of procedure, the General Assembly sent it back to the Security Council. We must now wait to see what the Security Council's decision will be. So I don't accept that it's a dead end. We must await the response of the Security Council. I should say that there were only 2 member states in the General Assembly who voted down that resolution, one of them being a Security Council member. So let us give the Council the opportunity and space to study the matter based on the results of the vote in the Assembly and come up with its own response.
Do you think GA could put pressure on the Security Council on this issue?
Well, the GA doesn't seek to put pressure. The GA acts in its own deliberate judgment, and they have, by voting overwhelmingly in support of Palestine being designated as a full member state of the United Nations. The consequences of that would be for us to see, but the GA does not a priori set out to apply pressure. No.
We heard a lot of criticisms and attacks from Israel on the UN recently. We heard the former ambassador Erdogan said that to erase the building of UN in Jerusalem and label UNRWA as a terrorist group. As president of General Assembly, what is your response to this kind of rhetoric?
It's in member states' right to have their own views. That is a sovereign right. That is the basis on which this organization has always functioned. What I would say is that certainly for the year that I've sat as president of the General Assembly, such references as have been made by members of the House about prejudice, I have not seen any of that, really. I get the sense from the question that what you're saying is that what was implied was that there is an inbuilt prejudice against a particular state. But I cannot, in good conscience and honestly, say that I have seen that. And there have been many contentious debates, as you know. We have, in the presidency, always ensured that all members are given equal space and opportunity to make their views known. It is their right. It is their fundamental right. And I think we can say without fear of contradiction that we've lived up to that expectation and to honor the rules of procedure by being fair and just and equidistant from all the members. So I do not know what specifically the reference what might have been to, but I cannot say that I've seen it.
Okay, but what is your opinion on UNRWA? Is it a terrorist group?
Well, I base my opinion on UNRWA on the reports that have been submitted independently by Madam Colonna, who, as you know, was commissioned by the Secretary General in the wake of the allegations of impropriety to investigate UNRWA and come up with an independent report. That report has been submitted. I think its findings are a matter of record. That report did not indicate that there was any basis on which UNRWA could be considered a terrorist organization. But we must be careful how we use language, because as you well know, after 20 or so years of fighting international terrorism, the UN has never been able to agree on a universally accepted definition of terrorism. So whenever the descriptor is used, it can mean different things to different people. And so, like I say, Madam Colonna found no basis to classify UNRWA as a terrorist organization. And so I'm obliged to accept her findings.